like I said, I'm going to be going over the course syllabus. We'll kind of talk about that. I'll kind of give you a tour of Canvas, and I'll kind of go through some assignments. We don't have too many assignments to do right now. I think the only thing I think y'all got to do, I know this week, is y'all have to do that. I think the pre-test is due coming up. I know is one thing y'all need to work on. I think that's due Friday. And also the contract policy page. That's not going to be due till later. So yeah, the pre-test will be due this Friday. So try to get that done first. I think some of you have already started to do that already. And then probably the contract policy page, I think that won't be due until probably, I'll give you till the end of next week, which I think that'll be close to about August 27th of when that will be due. So anyway, hey, Sydney's also joining us also in, I'll mute your mic there. But so anyway, so kind of talk about a few things, of course. Like I said, later in the week, I will be moving on to lecture about the Reformation, which mostly I'll be talking about the Protestant Reformation, like Martin Luther started, all that. That'll be like later on Wednesday. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and first talk about Canvas and, of course, our syllabus that we have up already right now. I'll kind of open this right here. But yeah, I do have some announcements already posted. If you go to your whichever class you're in on Canvas for History 1123, I've got 3 of these I'm doing at the same time, by the way, lecture-wise. But there you got on that page there, you can see I've got the information about the syllabus. The syllabus can be found in different locations. So if you go to where it says syllabus on the left-hand side, you can see it's there, but I think it's also posted in modules. It's all over the place. Can't miss the syllabus, basically. But like I said, that contract policy page, like I'm saying, that needs to be turned in by week 2 sometime, which should be page 5. And you do get bonus for that, like 5 points for the contract policy page. And I think for the pre-test, you get 10 bonus points for that also as well. So I do give a lot of bonus points during the semester. I'll probably give out bonus points today for anybody who watched live today also as well. I think I'll do that too, I think today. Connor's also joining us also as well online, really. And I think Jasmine, I don't know if I mentioned Jasmine. Jasmine is just watching on there right now also as well. Good. All right. So anyway, yeah, I've got information you can see in that announcement about some other topics in there, like the book report. Do need to know that too, like what your book title you're going to, like what book you're going to read for the semester from that book list that I have on Canvas. So go ahead and start deciding that as well. I'll probably give you the first 2 or 3 weeks to decide like what book you want to read for the semester. Also, if any student is interested in that Veterans Oral History Project, please let me know about that. I think I'll kind of put it up on the screen here. Yeah, Jeremy looks like sending me a message. That's good, Jeremy. I hope you're having a great semester also as well. But here's the link. I think I posted it earlier on here. But if anybody's interested in the Veterans Oral History Project, of course, I do have a link up, of course, that's on Canvas and on that YouTube, of course, right there, that link right there below. If you want to go look at examples. And I just have the best ones on there that have been done by previous BRCC students, if you want to take a look at that. But it's a voluntary project. So it's not a project that, it's like an actual grade in the class, but it's just for bonus points. I give you 200 bonus points. It's a lot, I know. I think I doubled. I used to have 100, but I figured 200 points. I mean, get more students that probably do it. So check out the guidelines for it, of course, on the bottom there on that page right there. You can see it. It's also listed in modules as well. But just check that out as well. I did have a previous video. If you haven't seen it yet, just down here, History 1123 preview video. I think that was more popular than the other one, I know. But check that out. It's kind of giving you a tour of Canvas and things like that for the class. Got a little Monty Python little video ahead with that, making fun of Beethoven or something like that. I kind of included with that, but check that out, of course, for that as well. So that's one of our main announcements that I've got posted. There are other announcements as well for you to check out. If you go to Canvas. Yeah, we do have a lecture plan coming up this week. I think the links are down here, but on Wednesday, August 18th, 10 a.m., I will be lecturing on the Reformation, or at least part one. I'll have like two lectures on the Reformation. I'll talk about the early stages of the Reformation, dealing with mostly like Martin Luther, Calvin, and some of the early Protestant reformers. And I'll get also into some of the other aspects of the Reformation, English Reformation. I might even talk about the Scottish Reformation a little bit, Radical Reformation, and then also the Catholic or Counter-Reformation that also occurred because of the Protestant side of it also as well. So you just check out that later. That'll be probably up today sometime. You to look at it. So I guess Sydney liked she's in StreamYard, but she liked the Beethoven video. That's good. Looks like Carmen's also joining us this morning also as well. Hey, we're having a great morning as well. Other announcements too. Now, I've kind of shown these before, but I guess I'll show them again, whatever. But I had some links in here about like using StreamYard. I don't know if I'll have as many students using StreamYard, but it just gives you information about it. It's a little different compared to Zoom. It's like more of a streaming platform that's internet based. It doesn't have an app, but it's kind of like a cross between Zoom and Google Meet is what it is. So it's kind of similar to Zoom, but not quite the same. So yeah, that's in there if you want to look at that. You do get bonus points for watching live streams of the lectures. But if you're not watching it live and you're watching it recorded, you can leave me comments or questions about various videos I put up, and you get bonus points for that either way. So you can earn bonus points either way, either watching it live or sending me comments, questions later on my YouTube channel. Other announcements I've got up too that I can show you real quick here. But so you got that one. Of course, the pre-test announcement. I might have shown that before, which is right here. I've got links up here to, that's going to be the main link, of course, to the fall semester 1123 class, the playlist for all the lectures. And I got, of course, the link to my YouTube channel, which I guess you're getting familiar with right there. So just kind of showing you that real quick. Pre-test announcement right here. Now, I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have too many other announcements right now overall. We'll have probably an announcement later coming on, about upcoming quizzes and things like that, but I don't have that up there, of course, right now. Of course, I gave you a previous tour before, I think in that preview video I had before, but I do have some assignments up right now. The first vocab assignment has been posted, which is due in September. So go ahead and start check that out. And that's probably one of your main assignments you need to start working on right now for the beginning of the semester, which are just a basic vocab assignment for chapters, mostly 15, 16 in the textbook. The textbook we are using is a History of World Societies, but like I said, it's not a mandatory textbook for my class. I think I mentioned this before about this, and it's in the syllabus as well. But you can either use the textbook or you can use outside sources. Like I've got on the bottom of this assignment, various secondary sources that you can use, like mostly encyclopedias. I prefer the most for you to use. So you can go ahead and start working on that. That has to be typed. Do make sure you cite your sources, of course, for that particular assignment. Book report, that's already been posted already, the assignment for that. That won't be due till November, but like I said, at the beginning of the semester, you need to go ahead and start decide what book you want to pick out of that list right here. So not some book outside the whole. The reason why I picked those books is because I've mostly read all those. So I kind of familiar with, what you're writing about. And that's why I pick all those. But I do have a writing rubric right here. And then the actual assignment, which is right here, is also in the syllabus, page 4. Only 3 students per book. So if you got a book you like, send me an email pretty much what book you want to pick for this semester to read. I don't think I've got too much on here. Of course, I've got the Veterans Oral History Project, which that won't be, like I said, due until probably during finals week. So you got a long time to work on that for that project. But yeah, the project is located here as well. And I think I've got the link also to the different examples of interviews that are also on my channel as well. I've got other stuff on the bottom, but I don't think that's important right there for you to look at. If you go to where it says files on Canvas, that just is basically a list of all the files in the class that we have. So if you want to look for like a certain type of file, just go in there and look for that. Syllabus, of course, is also located here. I did put information about the textbook on this page as well in Canvas. So obviously we're using History of World Societies. I think it's like volume 1, the second half of it. There's some editions where they have the combined edition, which is either one, I guess is fine. I pretty much allow you to use either the 11th or the 12th editions. 11th edition is probably cheaper because it's older. But I'm not sure which the bookstore has. They probably have maybe the combined edition, but you can check it out. Or you can also go to Amazon and get it cheaper probably on the internet. So you got links to where both editions are if you want to check that out as well. And I've got information on the bookstore as well listed right there. So if you got any questions during the this segment today, just let me know and I can try to answer it, or you can send me information later. It's like Spence is watching also. Hey, good morning also as well. Let me see what else. Quizzes, I don't have much in there right now, but I do have the pre-test. So that's the only thing we got in quizzes right now. You take a look at and complete. That'll be due Friday, like I said. Modules has a lot of stuff listed in it. At the top, you'll see the video, that preview video I did at the beginning of the semester. So you didn't find it there, you can find it here also as well. Got also the stuff about the pre-test and the contract policy page. That you can just post in here, or if you can't figure that out, you can email it to me. If you don't know how to post in the SpeedGrader Canvas, you can email it. I got links in here, like for my channel, the playlist for the lectures listed as well. I don't have this scheduled much right now, but later on we'll post the review here. You want to go back and look at it again, I'll put it in here, like the video from today, right there. Later on, I'll have lectures posted below for each week, schedule-wise. There are study guides. There's like a list of all 3 exams, pretty much, and quizzes for History 1123, all the way up to, I guess, the Cold War era. These are like the ones. This is like where you'll post it later, like the first exam study guides, which they are worth 15 bonus points per exam starting this semester. So yeah, do get the study guides. It kind of helps you prepare for exams later, quizzes that we'll have in the future. The book report lists of sources are also right here listed. You can't find it there, you can find it here as well. Oral history guidelines for the Veterans Project is also here listed. I did put the link also right here for the different veterans interviews that have been done previously by BRC students in my previous classes. Now you can post it here, like either here or in assignments, either way. There is an academic calendar posted, which has some dates in it. Mostly like holidays and things like that are listed. You want to check that out in here as well. Now, I do have office hours listed for us, which mostly for us will be online, 11 to 1. However, I prefer email as my main contact. So that's going to be pretty much the main way to contact me for the semester. So kind of giving you like a tour right now, of what my Canvas, page looks like for History 1123. Say Kayla's saying that the smaller edition is only $35 of rental on Amazon. So that's good. That's good to know about that. So you might want to check that out if you want to rent that. I guess you're talking about volume 2, right? I'm guessing you're talking about, yeah, figure that. So yeah, that's good to know about that. So you might want to check that out. Cheaper. I think the main one, the combined one, is pretty expensive. I know for that. All right, so yeah, let me also go ahead and I'm going to bring up the syllabus as well. We need to go ahead and check that out, get that posted for y'all to look at real quick. So I'll open that up, share that for y'all about the syllabus. So here's the syllabus, of course, History 1123 right here. It has some similar stuff that you'll find, on Canvas, like the contact information. I will be on campus on Tuesday, Thursdays. I've got a couple face-to-face classes. I haven't taught a face-to-face class in about a year and a half, which is kind of weird. But I think my office hours will be about the same. Actually, my office hours for Tuesday and Thursday are 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is actually what it is. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. It's 10 to 12 is what it is. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, excuse me, is the actual time. And LA 328, which is the third floor Louisiana building, is where my main office is. So if you want to come by and, talk to me or whatever, you can, of course, do that during that time and all that. Because I know pretty much it's pretty much like an online class. Kayla was saying like the combined one was $130. Whew, that's a lot. That's pretty expensive. So yeah, you might want to think about that instead. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, it does have my email address, which I prefer email, during the semester. Like email me throughout the semester. Pretty much I'll try to get your emails, answered within the day, unless it's like late at night for some reason. But I pretty much try to answer my emails quickly as I can. I'm kind of bad about that. Like my wife hates it, I'm pretty much a sticker with email a lot. So, but I do have phone numbers like 216-8495 is my main office number, but mostly, I've got a cell phone number as well, 937-9242, 225 area code. If you want to text me, you can too, but I prefer email pretty much. So if you look at the syllabus, it's a survey course. So we're basically, a lecture-based type class, which we kind of pick and choose various topics in world history from, I guess, starting with prehistoric times, going all the way up to the Renaissance. So that's the time period. Mostly the class goes through like ancient times. We'll have some Middle Ages also at the end as well, where we'll get up to the like late Middle Ages and things like that as well. So that's pretty much our main topics that we'll cover. So we're covering like something like 4,000 or 5,000 years of human history is what we're going to cover in this class. Oh, I'm sorry, we're doing the modern one, aren't we? I forgot about that. We're doing the modern one. I'm getting confused here. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going from the Renaissance period and the Reformation up to like modern times. I'm getting it backwards for some reason today. Sorry about that. But so yeah, we're from, I guess we'll start with Columbus, Reformation, all those topics. And then I'll kind of go up through like modern times, kind of World War II and Cold War and things like that for 1123. Yeah, but 1113 I think is more ancient times. I don't want to get those kind of backwards today for some reason. But anyway, if you go down here and look at the syllabus, it does go into like different, like it's a 3-hour credit course, obviously. Learning outcomes, these are things that you should be able to know and do, I guess, or be successful at and completing by the time you finish this class, more or less. General education learning outcomes, I think they also list that in there as well if you want to take a look at that later. Not too much, it was sticking with going through the syllabus too much, but textbook, history of world societies, like I said, it's not a mandatory textbook for my class, mostly because I'll be, it's mandatory that you get the book title for the book report. It's going to be the main thing, of course, you'll need to get. Textbook will be optional. You want to use it for the vocab. reference source, for my class. You can also do that as well. You want to be really using it for like the book report. You don't need it for that. So you either buy it, rent it, whatever, through the BRC's a bookstore, or obviously internet. Be cheaper for the volume 2 version that you can get, like $35 on Amazon, which is a pretty good deal for that. So yeah, you'll have those vocab assignments, key terms assignments. We'll have those, of course, throughout the semester. We should have 4 of them throughout the semester, which each one is like 150 each. So I've already got the first one posted, which will be due in September, I think the second week. I will have 3 exams throughout the semester. You can see right there, first exam, second exam, final exam. It's not cumulative. Pretty much each exam is like whatever historical topics I'm covering throughout the semester. Should be modern stuff, not ancient stuff. But I don't know if the exams will be that lengthy, like the amount of questions, since for my online classes, I usually have maybe a shorter exam, but maybe up to like 40 questions or more could be on the exam. And I think with my online exams, I prefer mostly multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank will be the types of questions I'll probably use. I don't really do essay as much because I prefer a research paper instead. So each exam is worth 200 points. Of course, you have your study guides, 15 bonus points each. You can earn extra credit, of course, for that also as well. I do have this makeup period in the midterm. I kind of put that in there right there. But with the use that midterm, which I guess will be in October this year, we'll have a makeup week. I usually do for any kind of assignments that you miss during the semester. So I'll probably send out reminders about that. Now, it usually takes place during the midterm week because I don't give a midterm exam. There is a student exemptions for final exams. Those are for students that have like an A+ going into the final exam. So I'll remind students, like whoever is that high of a grade at the end of the semester, that they of course will be exempt, but you will have to complete all your other assignments to, of course, remain exempt and all that. Book report, that's on page 4. The syllabus is also in assignments as well listed. So do check that out because that's a mandatory assignment you'll have to do during the semester. Like I said, you do need to go ahead and start thinking about, what, book you want to pick for the semester to read from that book list I've got. Of course, the Veterans Oral History Project, that's, of course, like something you could earn extra points for in the semester. It says, well, I don't know why it's got 100 points there, but that's kind of a typo. It's worth 200 points, actually, bonus points. And anyway, that project, it's pretty much listed in assignments. If you go on there, it's also in modules. So if any student, knows someone who's a veteran, friend, family member, or you yourself as a veteran, you might want to, have someone interview you for that extra credit points. It does need to be either a video format or audio interview. I prefer a video, which is better, I think, than audio. But I don't really prefer a transcript anymore. So I used to kind of make students have a transcript of the interview, but that's not necessary. But I do need a release form for that interview that's conducted, to make it a legal type thing. And so that's going to be due at the end of the semester. Like I said, I think it's not due till, at least for this class, it's not due until like final exam week. Grading scale is a 10-point scale. I'm not sure what the points will be. That may have been 2,200 points in the past, maybe, or whatever, but it's going to depend how many assignments we have and so on. So 90% obviously or more is an A. To be exempt from the final, you got to have 96% or higher. Plagiarism, there's a little thing on that. Also the syllabus, I think it's on page 3. Check that out. Make sure you look at the BRCC student handbook. There's information, of course, about plagiarism listed in it. Safety, there's a little blurb in there about safety on page 3 as well. Make sure you know that if you're on campus, the number for campus police is 216-8888. Also, there's stuff in there about BRCC Connect, which is an emergency text messaging and email system for the college. That's in case of like some kind of emergency, or they're closing campus down for some reason. Like we have hurricane season coming up, so you might want to sign up for that on the BRCC webpage. Not sure where exactly it is, but you can just Google it and you'll probably find it. I don't know what's going to happen in the semester. Who knows what might happen, during the semester. We might go back to all being online. So if you have a face-to-face class, it might be all online again, depending on what COVID happens. We're all, of course, permanently online, I know, this class, but if you have a face-to-face class, who knows what might happen, with that. So we'll see later, of course. So anyway, there's also a little thing in there about student conduct. So just kind of check that out also as well. Some of this is kind of like, obviously, if you're like in a face-to-face class, it might be different on campus. But since you're online, I guess you don't need a student ID and parking tag. But if you do go on campus, you might need that probably. And this is stuff in the classrooms if you're in a classroom and all that. So a lot of this stuff is like mostly for in-class and all that. Now go to page 4, of course, in your syllabus. Of course, there's the main directions on the book report. So yeah, each student in my 1123 class or any of my history classes are going to have to read, of course, some kind of historical work for the semester. Just make sure it's from that book list. Make sure it's for the right time period as well. So at least for this class, looks like we're doing modern history. So make sure you pick a topic from there, a book, and make sure you don't use any other sources. So, you're just, reading and writing about that particular book that you decide to read for the semester. So it's more or less a book report with some critical review in it. Is what I prefer. Rather than, I guess, a traditional book review. But it does have directions, so you have to have a cover page, preferred in MLA style, double spacing, 12 font. Make sure you don't use italics too much unless it's a certain reason for italics, like a book or like a ship might be italicized or whatever. Minimum 3 pages in length, of course, double spaced. So that's a minimum length. I don't know if I have a maximum, but it could be 3 to 10 pages, whatever how long you want your paper to be. Make sure you cite your book that you use, of course, MLA style as well. So you shouldn't, cite any other types of books, during the semester, this project. So most of your paper should be a summarization, I guess, of, so take notes, when you're, reading your book. Try to write down the most important details that the author writes about in his historical work. And also, critical review. Like, what kind of critical review do you think about the book? Like, did you like the work? Would you recommend it for other people for reading? Positive, negative aspects of the work, or some positive, negative aspects of the author's style of writing on the subject. You could compare and contrast between back then or today if you want. But try to stick to the contents of the book more than anything. I don't require rough drafts for my research papers, but usually during the semester, if you want to send me copies of your rough draft you're working on, I can help you out. So now this summer I did that, of course, with my History 1113 class a few times also as well. Sometimes I would require a copyright page of the book, but I don't know if I'm going to require that. So I do need a cover page, the main paper, review of the book, works cited page, of course. If you want to include a copyright page of your book on the title page, you can, but it's not necessary. Sometimes I would have that if there was like a certain translation of the book or something like that, which is kind of a problem sometimes in History 1113 because you got all these different old books from a long time ago, but I don't think that's going to be necessary for that. The research paper, like I said, will be due in November for the online classes. And I think it's, I forget the exact date, but I think it's November. I have to look at it later, but I thought it was November the 12th, I think is the actual date that it's going to be due. So if you have any questions about that, let me know later about that. And, like I said, email me, your book titles that you want to be included for this semester that you want to read. Make sure you remember that there are only 3 students per book, but we do have a huge list in History 1123. I have read all those books. I read other books too. I just kind of got those in there listed right now. Then, of course, you got that last main page of the syllabus, page 5, to also look at student contract policy page. So make sure you check that out. Like I said, that has to be turned into me, so you can just either email it to me or post it to the speed grader, so I could give you the 5 points for it. That's just kind of showing me that you kind of have looked at the syllabus and kind of understand the framework of the semester. And then it kind of goes into like attendance policies. So, we're not really taking attendance off of like whether you've watched the lectures or not, because this is an online class. So it's going to be based off of mostly assignments per week. So if you don't do any assignments, it's like you're absent for that way. Now, if you're in a face-to-face class, it's usually, you're there or not, unless you got like an excuse absence or sick or something like that. Of course, any information missed, obviously you can go back and, look at, my YouTube lectures. I don't have posts on this. So it's like no excuse. It's up there, go back and look at it multiple times if you want to, more or less. If you get acceptance absences, of course, you can drop the class. So don't forget about that. There's a drop date. I think we look in the academic calendar that we have in the semester. So you can, eventually drop the class if you have to as well. You do get attendance participation points, but I think that's going to mostly be based off of probably assignments, more or less. So up to 150 points for that as well. I do give makeups. Like I will be giving makeups, obviously, at midterm is one of the main things I do. So contact me if you miss assignment or if you're sick for some reason, let me know. It's best if you have some kind of excuse for some reason if you're sick for some reason. But I do have makeups. I might even have makeups before the final exam. I kind of sometimes do that also as well, if students need some kind of makeup for that as well. So there's a student information blurb on the bottom. If you want to fill that out, like what your name is, your major, what do you like about history, what do you dislike about history as well. So either email that to me or you can post the speed grader or the assignment in Canvas. Last few pages, 6 through 8, go through like military absence policies that BRCC has as well. So check those out as well as procedures, documents, etc. There's also some kind of military absence form to fill out as well. Also, student athletes, there's an absence policy for that as well. Guess they're still doing sports at BRCC, so they have that there. So if you have for some reason you're an athlete and you have an event, you have an excuse. I think it's more for like face-to-face classes more than anything for that. So that's kind of all the information that I've got pretty much in the syllabus. Throughout the semester, you can kind of go back and forth, looking at it throughout the semester. So I'll be up there throughout the whole time, more or less, to go back and forth. So I'm not sure what else I got to talk about. Of course, they have the academic calendar. I think you can just kind of go ahead and go look at that, whenever you want, more or less. But I don't know if anybody has any comments, questions, about the syllabus or anything else right now for me. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. No, Kayla was talking about the textbook, how the rental is $35 on Amazon. So I don't know if anybody else has any comments, more or less. I guess nobody right now. But later on, of course, you can send me comments, questions, about this video later, of course, going over, History 1123 Canvas and of course, the syllabus we have. Now, later in the week, of course, like I said, I'll be getting into talking about the Reformation. It's going to be really a 2-part lecture coming up on Wednesday's class. I'll kind of, like I said, go into kind of like part 1 lecture, which will be We'll talk about like the beginning of the Reformation. How it kind of starts around the 1500s in Germany, like with Martin Luther. I'll kind of talk about him first because that's really what starts, not least like Lutheranism, the Lutheran religion, of course, the first Protestant faith you have. We'll talk about Calvinism, like John Calvin, influences a lot the Reformation as well. I'll go into like Ulrich Zwingli in Switzerland. I think I'll kind of get into him a little bit, mention him. We'll talk about the English Reformation briefly. I'll talk about Henry VIII. Probably heard of him, right? His 6 wives and all that. That's kind of what spawned the whole Anglican church that broke away from the Catholic Church. I'll probably talk about the Scottish Reformation briefly, like John Knox, who's from Scotland, started the Church of Scotland and all that. I might mention him a little bit. The Radical Reformation. You may have heard of the Anabaptists. You heard of the Amish, right? Amish, of course, were one of those groups that are kind of Anabaptists. They're kind of radical. They kind of broke away from the Catholics and the Protestants, of course. And then also I'll get into the Counter-Reformation as well, where the Catholic Church, had its own Reformation as well, because they were trying to counter, the Protestant faith and keep all their people, in the church and all that with reforms and things like that. So that's kind of like what I'll do part 1. I won't finish the Reformation probably till next week, though. I think next Monday, we'll kind of have the part 2 lecture later. So, I'll have a later, quiz, coming up on the Reformation, but it probably won't be until early next week. So really the only thing y'all have got, like I said, at least for this week, is the pre-test. So that's something y'all need to work on, due August 20th in quizzes. So get that done. And I did tell you about the contract policy page as well, that being due. I'll give you till like the end of next week, which I think that'll be August 27th, which is a Friday as well, to try to get that done for me. So doesn't look like there's any other questions right now, more or less. So like I said, later, if you have any, questions about, this particular segment today, let me know, on my YouTube channel, more or less. And so I will see you later, of course, Wednesday. I'll of course send out some reminders of course about our upcoming lecture that I have, like part 1 on the Reformation. But meanwhile, if you have any comments, questions about this video, you can send those to me, or you can email me as well, simond@mybrcc.edu. So I hope y'all have a great first week of classes at BRCC. Good luck. I hope we don't have too much problems with COVID and, of course, hurricanes here in Louisiana as well. So that's it. I'll see you later in the week, and y'all have a great week, like I said. So y'all take care, everybody.